I'll also tell you that I used to live here I used to live in Woodbridge anyway. This is here Woodbridge, back in the Ming Dynasty about 27 years ago, and I'm delighted to be back. But 2.5 years ago, this was an issue that got me engaged. I was a private citizen. I hadn't done all that much in politics, but I thought it was so important. And here we are 2.5 years later, and not all that much has changed. But a couple of things have changed. You know, first and foremost, I think we got two extraordinary candidates on the Democratic side of the aisle for President of the United States, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and both of them are committed to ending this war and start investing in America again. And the choice could not be clearer. John McCain, you know where he is right now. He's back in the Middle East. He was just over there in Iraq. He was there with his Secretary of Defense Wannabe, Joe Lieberman, and they were taking a tour around the area. And they both are talking about keeping this commitment, keeping our troops, keeping the war going in the Middle East for 100 years, as one of those gentlemen's signs said. And look, if they want to stay over there 100 years, that's great, but I think we want to start bringing our troops home now. I'll just tell you a couple of the talking points and themes about the war that we've seen over the last couple of years, and how I respond to it and talk about it. First and foremost, I hear our president say with some frequency, we're not going to have the politicians, those partisan politicians, make the call. We're going to let the generals make the call about what goes on in Iraq. If only there was some truth to what he said. I mean, you may remember 5 long years ago, it was George Herbert Walker Bush's national security advisor, George Bush the Elder, or George Bush the Wiser, as I like to say. And his security advisor was a General Brent Scowcroft. And he said, George Bush, think of the extraordinary unintended consequences of what this war, it will destabilize the Middle East and make America less safe. George Bush Jr. would not talk to Brent Scowcroft and left him sitting outside the Oval Office. You maybe remember General Eric Shinseki. You remember General Shinseki? He's the one who said, Don Rumsfeld, if you think you're going to fight this war on the cheap, you're wrong. It's going to take hundreds of thousands of troops, and you still won't be able to win it militarily. Do you remember what happened to General Shinseki? He was promptly forced into early retirement.